So I told the players that they did a really nice job today, going on the road, early morning game, starting fast and creating some advantages for us early in the game in all three phases. And then we had good plans, schemes to start the game, and the players were able to execute it. We had too many penalties in the game. 9 penalties for 80 yards is not good. Those have to be eliminated. We're -40 in the penalty area, and then had a turnover also. But overall, them coming out and understanding the concepts, and then again at halftime, being up by 4 touchdowns, and then not just going out and going through the motions and taking control in the third quarter. So I thought overall it was a good day for everybody involved.
Just to the naked eye, how impressive was Bowman today?
You know, he made the mistake, threw off his back foot and threw the pick. But overall, he was good. Misfired on a couple balls. But he's throwing a lot of passes. You know, they're an extra guy in the box pretty much every snap. So our coaching staff did a better job this week of exploiting those areas instead of just trying to beat our head against the wall running it. And for the most part, I thought Bowman was pretty good.
Did you expect them to loosen up a little bit later? It seemed like they never really got out of it.
At the end of the half, we're in a 2-minute situation, that extra guy in the box. So I kind of expected them to some, but they didn't.
Is that what you're just expecting now? Every snap of every game?
It's been that way pretty much. At least a half guy. So looks like that's the leading candidate up to this point for other teams ways to defend us.
It seems like your receivers had maybe a mismatch and for their advantage for this game on Tulsa's secondary. Is that kind of the way that you guys saw it, and did that play out the way that you kind of thought it would go with game planning throughout the week?
Yeah, so it's a numbers game. So they're putting another guy in the box to help with the run, so they're going to be limited in their ability to cover the width of the field and the depth of the field in the throwing game. So they didn't try to play man coverage, so it wasn't necessarily us physically beating them. It was just a numbers game with not enough guys really to cover the space and the width of the field based on the way football is played for them trying to stop the run.
Are you all right with those rushing numbers if it opens up the field for you to have that passing game?
Well, you know, we don't have a choice, so for 4 yards a carry or something, maybe 4 point something. You know, anytime we can rush for 4.5 yards a carry, we've had a good day. But if you're over 4, it's okay. Again, though, you know, we threw for 300 and something yards, so that's just what's going to happen. He threw for almost 400 yards, so. If people are going to play us this way, then that's what we're going to have to do.
It seemed like in the first couple of games there were a couple drops, a couple of plays that just weren't quite made on the outside. What did you think of Stribling and Owens today, especially? It seemed like they really got rolling.
I don't know. Did we have it? I don't know if they had a drop.
No, I was talking about the last couple of games. Today they seemed.
Yeah, we caught the deep ball. Shetron caught them, and you know, we had opportunities there. Basically, it's one-on-one coverage on the outside, even though it's not man. So we did a better job of getting the ball to him. We could have hit him earlier. You know, he misfired on 2 throws earlier. We should have hit him on deep balls. But those guys played better and secured the ones that they were able to get their hands on.
First game without Colin Oliver, how do you feel the defense kind of responded and played a full game?
Yeah, I think overall that we played pretty well. We made an adjustment latter part of the first quarter, a couple things they were doing run-wise, and we improved on that and got better as the game went on. We let a receiver get loose on a man coverage. We got picked. And then I thought our 4-man pressure on the quarterback was better in this game than what it's been at this point during the season.
Is that based off who you were playing, or is that them just kind of, it's third game, they're understanding what they need to do to get to them?
You know, it could be both, a little of both, but I thought that we understood our lanes more so in pass rush in this game than what we did in the earlier ones. It's maybe a little unfair for me to say that without watching it from the top, but I think I'll be pretty accurate in saying that. So that's an important part of what we do to keep guys back there to cover pass plays.
Mike, you talked about, hoping to give Ollie some more outside looks, outside concepts in the run game. Are there any other ways you're hoping to kind of get around those extra guys in the box and get it going again, or get the run game going?
Any way to do what?
To just neutralize some of the extra guys in the box.
Defense determines what offense does. Unless offense is just better than defense, it doesn't matter. Okay, so our system is set up to try to take advantage of where we have a half-man advantage at least. If they choose to defend the run full time, we can either try to run through that guy and not block him, or we can throw passes. And that's really what our choice is. So we can bring some in, they can bring some in. And there were times we brought some in and they brought them in. And they just essentially played one-on-one out there, whether it was zone or man. And then defense, on the opposite of that, defense can dictate what offenses do most of the time. And then if we decide to just say we want to run the ball, then we're going to end up playing the whole game in between the hash marks.
Is that frustrating at all for Ollie? Do you have to talk him down, saying, hey, they're loading up the box, we've got to throw it? Is there anything like that?
He knows. The good news is that the NFL doesn't care about statistics, and they're going to evaluate running backs based on what their success level is, based on what they're asked to do. And they know that there's times we force it in there with him, but in the laws of football, it says don't do that. And he understands that, in my opinion. He's smart enough to realize what's going on.
Throughout the year, you seem comfortable rotating those next three receivers in. Just what have you seen from those guys, and how do they sort of open up the offense?
It's good that we can get a number of guys to work. It's good we can rotate some backs in and work some extra receivers, work multiple tight ends from the duration of the season. So we're 4 to 5 weeks away from fatigue setting in and across college football. You get into week 8-ish, and then you start looking for guys to get some reps in games and or practice because of the fatigue. And so we're trying to push some of these guys in there and get them to learn on the run. Now, the young guys make mistakes. Sometimes get caught looking around because they're just not adjusted to it. But overall, that's what our goal is, and I felt like they played pretty well today.
It seems like this could have been a confidence-building game for Shetron. Do you kind of feel that this could be a spot where he starts to really take some steps forward now?
So he's had a much better year than what he's had. Unfortunately, he's been beat up injury-wise in his career, and he had a really good August and started to show signs of wanting to take that next step. And he's had some catches in the games before this one. And then today, he had an opportunity to do some things kind of on a big stage for him, and I thought that he played pretty well.
So, like, I think James Washington, maybe his senior team, Mike, you guys had a 8-man and a bunch of guys, but is this team, because of your fullbacks and so many wideouts, do you have more game targets now than you've ever had?
Well, the year
guys
you're talking
really
about,
trust.
Yeah, we played 7 wideouts pretty much every game that year you're talking about. And we've got tight ends we feel like we can throw the ball to. Obviously, our backs are good receivers. And then, the question, I think what you're talking to, we're not really limiting who we're throwing to. We're throwing it to 6 guys. We trust those guys. So hopefully we can keep them healthy and give them all reps. And as we progress through the season, it'll help us.
So if you're going to be defended this way all year, I mean, do you think you have the kind of personnel that can take you to the Big 12 championship with having to play this way?
So we're not good enough to just run into unblocked players, okay? And I don't know that a lot of people are. So our staff has got to have a plan, and then they have to have another plan if we start to see what we've seen this year. and we have to get to the second plan. But that's something that has to be practiced and ready to execute because of what we've seen so far up to this point. I can't imagine that it's going to change.
Based on that, how do you feel the offensive line is playing, given that the mismatched numbers that they're facing?
I thought that they were better today. In the number of times that we ran the ball, that we had even numbers, we had decent runs. Again, without seeing it from up top, it might be a little bit unfair, but I thought they played better today. And we were protecting, we're still protecting pretty good. We had a penalty, 71 got a penalty, and then 72 got one before that, that we didn't need. He didn't need to do what he did. So those are things we got to get rid of up front. But overall, I think they played pretty good in this game.
You've had a lot of tight non-conference games over the last few years. Was it nice to get some other guys in that have been working hard all fall and stuff like that?
Yeah, so that's what I told them in there. And the young guys that go in, and most of those guys haven't played, and they need to go in and play like they've been coached and be able to execute the calls just like the ones do. And what I saw today was guys that were a little bit hesitant, and that they're playing a significant number of plays at this level for the first time, and they have to get that off their back, and they have to go in and execute just like the guys that are in front of them. And the majority of that comes with experience. But overall, those guys got quite a few reps today, which helps our team.
Couple more for Coach.
Like overall, how did you feel like your defense played today?
I thought they played pretty good. You know, we gave up 10 points when we put some other guys in. I thought that the other guys could have played better, just kind of what I was alluding to. They got out of position a few times that they shouldn't have. If they would have been in practice, they wouldn't have. But they did. They got on the stage and got out of position. But for the most part, we gave up some yards. We got hit on a few runs in the first quarter. We made adjustments on that. And then we started to minimize plays, and we got some pressure with 4 down. So I thought they played better.
Hey, Coach, can you talk a little bit about your upcoming matchup against Utah? Obviously a big game, conference opener, 12 and 13.
Right, all of them are. The good thing about college football is every game matters now. That's why everybody watches it. And this is a very good football team. And we did some study and looked at those guys over the summer. And, you know, there's a reason he's been there 20 years. There's a reason that they've been ranked in the top 20 a lot. And they're a physical football team, and they're very well coached. They know what they're doing. And it'll be a really high-level skill set that will play. So our guys have got to shut this game down and go to the next one. That's just the way it is in college football, no matter what. This one's over. We have to start the preparation both mentally and physically for Utah, who's a very, very good football team.
Is your team further along through 3 games now than they were last year? Just, you know, 3 non-conference games, and you talked earlier about how they are more veteran, they've been around longer, but do you feel like what you want to accomplish is further along right now?
I think so. I feel like that it's pretty clear cut what we're going to see moving forward on both sides of the ball. So we have to have a good week, good practices each week, and improvement on who we are, our offense, our defense, our special teams, and then defend who we're playing. What I mean by that is we can't get too far away from continuing to improve in our basic fundamentals, things that have to be there for us throughout the year. And then we got to have enough of it to get ready for Utah. But we seem to be further ahead now than what we were going into game 4 last year.
Thanks, guys.